which are specific to food industry. My slides are not moving actually.
Yes, now they are starting.
Okay, so I'll start my presentation with definition of startup. So when we say startup, word startup, what it exactly means. So the government of India and the startup schemes, they have clearly defined that any entity will be considered as a startup if it satisfied following criteria. So there are mainly 4 criteria. First criteria is that your entity or your business should be registered. It is first and foremost important criteria. It should be registered as a private limited company or partnership firm or limited liability partnership or one person company. Second criteria is that your entity should not complete more than 10 years since its registration. And third is the turnover of your business should be in any financial year, it should not exceed more than 100 crores. Apart from this, there are other criteria which are your business or entity should be working towards some innovative products or some you are developing some new products or processes and services, or you are improving the existing products. And also your business model should be having a vast potential for the employment generation as well as wealth creation. So this is the standard definition given by Government of India for any startups. So now we'll see what are the legal aspects or the regulations that every startup, whether agri startup or other startup, that every startup should know. So these are the general compliances. First and foremost is the incorporation related compliances, which basically covers all the registration and licensing compliances. Second, second is applying for business license. Third is what are the documents which are required for all these compliances. Fourth most is company law based appliances. If your entity is registered as a company, what are the compliances you should follow? Fourth is taxation based compliances, and fifth is labor based compliances. So under incorporation related compliances, company has to mandatory register under these 3 laws. First is the Companies Act 2013. Under this law, your entity should be registered as a private public for not for profit or one person company. Second is your company should be registered as under the Indian Partnership Act as a partnership firm, and third is it should be registered as a limited liability partnership. All these incorporation related compliances have been covered under the definition of this startup. So there are some criteria, like if your company is a proprietorship, you need not you can only have one person. In partnership firm and limited liability company, minimum 2 persons are required, and in while in private limited company, minimum 1 person can start the private limited company. For proprietorship and there is no for registration is required, whereas for partnership firm registration is optional, and limited liability companies as well as private limited companies, the registration is compulsory. Regarding the transferability of your entity, proprietorship and partnership firms, they are not transferable, or whereas limited liability companies and private limited companies, they can be transferred by means of share transfer. Proprietorships and partnership firms, they are not considered as a legal entity, whereas LPP and private limited companies, they are considered as a legal entities, and the promoters of this company, they are not personally liable towards the LPP, whereas in case of partnership firm, you are the promoters are wholly responsible for the liabilities or your entities. In case of private limited companies and limited liability companies, foreign ownership is allowable. Coming to company law-based compliances, suppose your company has been registered under Companies Act, your entity has been registered as a Companies Act 2013. There are certain mandatory compliances you need to be completed, which are you have to annually conduct the general meetings, annually conduct board meetings. There are some mandatory filling of some forms which are e-forms or appointment of auditor, MBB form, DIR 8 form. These are different type of forms we have to compulsorily fill if your business is registered as a company, private limited company. Regarding annual general meeting, there should be at least one AGM in each year, and board meeting should be 4 per year. And within the after the registration of your company, first board meeting should be conducted within the 30 days of your registration. And you have to compulsorily maintain all the registers, then minutes of all meetings, statutory, all the financial statements, then attendance of board of director, etc. Taxation related compliances are generally regulated by Income Tax Act and GST Act. So if you have to compulsorily fill the income tax returns, tax audit reports, TDS returns, etc., and you have to register under GST Act. So these are some taxation related act. As we know that our country is a labor welfare country, or so there are strict regulation regarding the safety and welfare of labor. So if you are a registered startup, you have to compulsory comply with Employees State Insurance Act. These are some acts you have to comply with. Then Employee Provident Scheme, then Maternity Benefit Act, Payment of Wages Act, Contract Labor Act, and Payment of Gratuity Act. So these are the acts. I'm giving just a glance to these acts. I'm not going into detail. There are several law firms and legal agencies which are giving information about all these compliances. So as I said that I'm from food processing background, I will elaborate in my next part of the presentation about the regulations or the compliances which are specific to the food industry or food startups. So if you are starting food business in India, it is the first and foremost thing which is required for any food startup is that it is their moral responsibility that to provide the qualitative as well as safe food to the end consumer. Because if you are dealing with the food product, the safety is the most important factor. So if you're planning to start a food business or the food startup, you have to comply with the major food regulating laws. And other than major food regulating laws, you have to comply with other minor laws like Export Amendment Act is there, then Environmental Protection Act is there, some advertising laws are there, which are mainly governed by Advertising Standard Council of India. And every food startup should also know what are the IPC provision or what are the fines or the penalties after the violations of this regulation or with non-compliance of these regulations. So for food products, the Food Safety and Standard Act, that is FSS 2006 Act, is a primary and major law which regulates all the qualitative as well as safety related points. So if in India, any individual or any entity is proposing to begin the food business, they should or they must obtain a food license or food registration from FSSAI. So what is FSSAI? FSSAI is a Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, which was established by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, under Food Safety FSS Act 2006. So the major responsibility of this FSSAI is to promote as well as to protect the public health through the regulation as well as supervision of the food products or the food business, food industries. Their main aim is to lay down the standards or science-based standard or specific standard for different types of the food products. And they also regulate the manufacturing, storage, processing, distribution, transportation, as well as sale of different products. And by that, they are facilitating in India, they are facilitating the safety of food products. So under this FSS Act, prior to this FSS Act, prior to 2006, there were almost 7 to 8 food laws which were regulating the safety and quality of food products. But after the this law came, this law overrides all the other types of the laws, and it took all the 8 laws under one umbrella. So what are these laws? These are the Prevention of Food Adulteration Act, Food Products Order Act, Food Products Order, Vegetable Oil Products Order, Edible Oils Packaging Order, the Solvent Extract Oil, De-oiled Meal and Edible Flour Order, the Milk and Milk Products Order, and Essential Commodities Act. So now we don't have to comply with all these old acts. We have to just comply with the Food Safety and Standard Act. So in 2011, the Government of India made some amendments in this FSS Act, and they have made some clear-cut regulation for food entities. So for any food entity, if you want to start the food business, you have to follow these certain regulation. First is the licensing and registration. Second is the packaging and labeling regulation. Third is the food product standards and food additives regulations. Fourth is prohibition and restriction on sales regulation. Fifth is contaminants, toxins and the residues regulation. And sixth is the laboratory and sample analysis regulations. Like for example, one of our incubator, Pradnya Rane, she is developing baby food products. So she has to comply with all these food safety and standards rules. She has to see what should be the packaging and labeling of her food product. What are the additives to be added and what are the permissible limits of additives, and how to sell this product, what are the contaminants, toxins and the residues which should not be present in your product, and how to do the analysis as well as sample analysis by standard laboratories. So these are in general compliances. Now we will see in detail what is the procedure or process of registration as well as licensing of the food entities. So as per section 31 of FSS Act, all food business operator. Here food business operator means any person who is who is doing food business have to compulsorily obtain this license. So these licenses are generally granted in 3-tier system. First is the basic registration, second is state license, and third is a central license. So basic registration is for very small business, state license is for medium business, and central license is for large business. So these are some basic criteria for the licensing as well as registration of FBOs. These criteria are generally categorized based on the type of your business. For the petty and small size FBOs, petty businessmen means roadside, some hawkers, retailers, or some temporary stall holders, or any FBOs which are having annual turnover less than 12 lakh. So they has to compulsorily go for registration. They need not to go for state license or the central license. Whereas for the FBOs which are having the annual turnover more than 12 lakhs or up to 20 crores, they have to compulsorily go for state license. This categorization is also based on their production capacity. So production capacity should be 1 to 2 tons per day. If it is more than 2 tons per day, you have to compulsorily go for the central licenses. And these are the fees, like for registration fees is 100 rupees per annum, and for state license it is 5,000 rupees, and for central license it is 7,500 rupees. Here important point is that all the milling units like dal mill or other milling units, they have to compulsorily apply for irrespective of the production capacity, whatever their production capacity, they have to compulsorily apply for state license. For dairy units, there is another criteria like your milk process or milk collected per day should be up to 5,000 liters or 2.5 tons of milk solid. If you are producing like milk powder or other solid products from the milk, it should be up to 2.5 tons. Then you have to go for registration. And if it is up to 10,000 liters, you have to go for state license. More than 10,000 to up to 50,000 liters, you have to go for state license. And if it is more than 50,000 and 25,000 tons of milk solid, you have to go for central license. So all these criteria they have mentioned in this FSS regulation. You can download this FSS regulation and you can read in detail what are the different criteria and what are the different types of the abuse. For vegetable oil processing unit, there is another there is different criteria, because first criteria for registration it is same, but for the processing it should be for state license it should be up to 1 to 2 tons, and if it is more than 2 tons you have to go for central license. For meat processing and slaughtering houses, it is basically based on number of the animals or birds you are having, or the amount of meat or fish you are processing per day. For storage units also there is criteria, like suppose you are having storage units, cold or refrigerated storage unit, the storage capacity, if your storage capacity is 10 up to 10,000 tons, you have to go for state license, and if it is more than 10,000 tons, you have to go for central license. Also, there are some regulation for packed and unpacked storage. Like one of our incubator is having, he is designing silos. So for this compliance is important. Suppose your silos, they are having capacity more than 50,000 tons, you have to go for state license. There are certain foods for which, without irrespective of their production capacity, you have to compulsorily go for central license. These products are some proprietary foods or some health supplements and nutraceutical products, as well as some non-specified food. Non-specified food means with the foods or additive which are not specified under this FSS Act, and some radiation processed by irradiation or other rays. They some for these kind of products you have to compulsorily go for central license. So registering and licensing authorities. So if you want to register your entity, then where to go? So the hierarchy is like that. FSSI, for any state, there will be food safety commissioner, and after that there will be designated officers and food safety officers are there, which will be the licensing authority for licensing as well as registering authority for the state. And for the central licensing, the designated officers which are sitting at the headquarters, or which are nominated or appointed by the CEO of the FSSI, they will be solely responsible for your central licensing. So if you are planning to register or register for your FSSI licensing, so how to go for? So it is very simple process. Now they have made it online. The system is food safety compliance system. On the website of FSSI, you will get this system. Earlier, it was food registration and licensing system. Now they have changed its name to food safety compliance system. So this is the home page of the system. Here, everything will be step-by-step procedure is given. Here, how to apply for the registration or licensing, what is the type of your BOs, then how to track your you can track your application here, and you will get info everything, what types of documents are required, what will be the fees, and what are the guidelines, everything will be given here. So for detail, if you want to want details, website is given here. Also, they have toll-free number, desk number, mail is there, help desk, foscos@fssi.gov.in. And FSSI is also having Food Safety Connect mobile app. So everything related to this food safety compliance as well as all the updates are given in this Food Safety Connect mobile app. So document is required for the licensing and the registration are this is the general list. But if you want in detail, the documents are classified. Generally, they are classified according to kind of your business. Like if you are a petty food business or the businessman, then what are the documents required? For registration, what are the documents required? So list is available on this Foscos under documents required. You can get everything here. Now we'll see how this FSSI they are enforcing this compliance, like how they are processing our application. So once applicant, you have to just fill the form B. This form B is given in FSS 2011 regulation, all the details, different type of forms, and the details are given in this regulation. So you have to fill Form B online. You have to fill, then you have to attach some documents, and also you have to process the fees. And after filling of your application, unique application reference number will be allotted to you. And if there is if they feel that some additional information is required, the information given by applicant is incomplete, they will ask for additional information. And if the all information suggested by these officers, if you furnish all this, the unique application ID will be provided to you. And after that, after some days, inspection of your entity will be done, and they will issue an inspection report. Suppose, and after inspection report, they will grant license or registration or license to you. But if in case of the designated officer or food safety officers, they inspect your entity and they find that there are certain aspects or there are certain things which needs to be improved, then they will send improvement notice to the food business operator, and they will ask for some suggestion or some improvement. So upon receival of this improvement notice, within 14 days of this, upon approval, you have to, within 14 days, you have to comply for this report. If you are not taking any remedial action, your license will be either suspended or cancelled. Or suppose they have sent improvement notice to you, and there are some points to which you are not agree, you are aggrieved by their decision of this food safety officer, you are not with their decision, then you can appeal against their decision to the food safety commissioner of the state. So final decision will be thereafter will be of food safety commissioner. So other than this, as I said, the major food law which regulates the food industry is FSS Act. But other than that, you have to comply with Export Amendment Act, which is generally for the quality control as well as inspection of your product. If you are exporting the products, you have to comply with this act, because this act generally facilitate the control as well as inspection of your products. Second most important is Environmental Protection Act. So after this Bhopal tragedy, Government of India enacted this law, this act in 1986, and this generally law, this regulates the manufacturing, use and import and storage of some hazardous substances or microorganisms or other foodstuffs. Third important law is advertising law. So if you are advertising your product, you should not be misleading or deceptive. Like suppose you are advertising beverages, you should not advertise it as a meal replacement. Like if you are taking this beverage, you need not to eat meal or something. So it should not be misleading. So there are certain laws which are regulated by Advertising Standard Council of India. So now we have seen all this regulation, but you must be aware of penalties or fines which are there for the non-compliance or for failure or for the compliance with this regulation. So if food quality is not compliance with act, you have the fine will be up to 2 lakhs. If you are misbranding your food, fine will be up to 3 lakhs. So based on the type of business or the size of business, it will be up to 3 lakhs. So if you are doing the misleading advertisement, you have to the fine will be up to 10 lakhs. Some extraneous matter is present in your food, you have to pay for 1 lakh. If you are not complying with the food safety officer's direction, like food safety officers, if it is giving any suggestion you are not complying with that, they can fine up to 2 lakhs. And if you are producing your food product under unhygienic conditions, up to 1 lakh fine will be imposed. So other than that, there are some stringent penalties also. Suppose your food is unsafe and it is of grievous injury, like it is causing very harsh injuries to the individual, there will be imprisonment also along with the fine. So you have to be very serious while complying for these regulations. If you are interfering with seized item, then 6 months imprisonment will be there and up to 2 lakhs fine will be there. So these are the different penalties and IPC provisions for non-compliance of these regulations. So other than this FSS regulation, FSSI also made, there are certain products for which FSSI made BIS as well as AGMAR certification compulsory and mandatory. Even if you are having FSSI license or registration, you have to go for this BIS as well as AGMAR certification. So these products are mainly the follow formula or the complementary food, as I said, or the processed cereal based complementary foods. As I said, if you are producing baby food products, you have to also go for BIS certification. So these are basically milk and milk based product or the complementary formulas. And also for hexane, if you are producing or manufacturing or importing, transporting hexane of food grade quality, you have to compulsorily go for BIS certification. Recently, in September 2011 only, FSSI makes BIS certification compulsory for mineral water and drinking water. So now, if you are processing drinking or the mineral water, you have to compulsorily have BIS license, and while applying for FSSI license or registration, you have to compulsorily upload the copy of this BIS license. Similarly, for blended edible vegetable oils and fat spread, you have to compulsorily go for AGMARK certification while applying for FSSI license. So this is all about food products. If you are going for the organic food products, then which legislation regulates the organic food products in India? So these organic food products also, they are regulated by FSSI regulation, but the regulation are new, that is Food Safety and Standards Organic Food Regulation 2017. So there are two systems which certifies these organic food products. One is a participatory guarantee system, and second is a national program for organic production. First is implemented by Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, and second is implemented by Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Question may arise in your mind, if your product is organic product, then what should be the label on your organic food? So there should be the FSSI's organic food logo, that is Jaivik Bharat logo should be there, along with the FSSI organic FSSI logo licensing number. There will be logo licensing number. This is different than the licensing number. So along with the Jaivik Bharat symbol, their FSSI logo licensing number should be there. And your product may also have some organic India organic logo. If it is certified under PGS, it will be having this first logo, and if it is certified under PGS system, it will be having PGS India organic label. So this I am giving some recent example here to know the importance of this compliances. So recently, European Commission blacklisted almost 5 organic product export certifying agencies from India. They have asked APEDA to blacklist these all 5 regulating export certifying agencies. These agencies are CU Inspection India Private Limited, one is EcoCert India Private Limited, Indian Organic Certification Agency there. These 5 are now been blacklisted from the APEDA's certifying agencies list. The reason here is that they have in their sesame or teal oil consignments, they found higher level of ethylene oxide, which is a major safety issue. So from this example, we come to know that how important these compliances are, whether it is legal compliances, quality or safety related compliances. You have to strictly go for that, otherwise it will bring bad name to your entity or your business. So another famous example I want to quote here, you all might be aware of this example, that is Maggi controversy. In 2015, the Nestle India is the most popular Indian product, that is Maggi, that has come under scanner because of this food regulations. So what happened in the UP in government laboratory of UP as well as in Kolkata, the Maggi samples were found to have high level of monosodium glutamate, that is MSG, which is generally adding as a taste enhancer. And also there were the high amount of the lead, which is not permissible. The lead content was almost 17.2 ppm, whereas the permissible limit is only 2.5 ppm. So almost 7 times higher lead content was there. So on this, FSSAI immediately visited this Nestle company, and they immediately asked for withdrawal as well as recall of the all 9 variants of the Maggi from India. So immediately more than 12 lakhs packets of this various quantities of Maggi were recalled. And also FSSAI imposed fine of rupees 45 lakhs on Nestle, rupees 15 lakh on 3 distributors, and rupees 11 lakhs on 2 sellers. So from this example, what we can see that we can come to know that these food laws are very stringent, and if you are not complying, you have to pay for the higher fines, and also your entity will be, your reputation will be down. So Nestle India, they fought for a long battle to regain their reputation and also regain the trust of the consumers. So this is all I have to say about this some regulatory compliances about the food products. If you are having any questions or any doubts, you can ask me. So I'll conclude my presentation here by saying that building a trust of your entity or your business among customers, prospects, and the vendor is very much important. And these are the regulatory compliances are the one who protects your business reputation as well as resources. And compliances lays down the foundation on which you build your company's reputation. So finally, at the end, the longevity and the stability of your business model will be depend on how the legal foundation of your entity is secure. So it depicts the importance of this regulatory compliance. So I will stop here. If you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. If anybody is having any questions, you can ask. Kaushalji, you are having your startup related to food. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir, but I was just typing the presentation was very good. Just
Okay.
wanted to thank ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Then
Pradnya,
Mrs.
you want
Pradnya, yes, Pradnya. Yes. Pradnya,
Yes, sir.
yes. You have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
So मला एक क्वेश्चन आहे. अरविंद बोलतोय.
Yes, Arvind, yes.
अच्छा, कालच्या एक प्रेझेंटेशन मध्ये एक डाऊट म्हणजे क्वेरी रेज झाली होती की जसं आम्ही वॉटर कन्वर्ट्स इनटू ड्रिंकिंग वॉटर, ओके, तर त्याच्यासाठी म्हणजे FSSAI म्हणजे ते काय वॉटर आपण कुठं सेल वगैरे काय करणार नाहीये, ते फक्त त्याच्या ओन कन्झम्पशन साठी असेल. तर त्याच्यासाठी असं काय म्हणजे सर्टिफिकेशन किंवा असं काय रजिस्ट्रेशनची काय रिक्वायरमेंट आहे?
it is the FSSAI regulations are mainly for manufacturing, processing, and sale of your products. If you are selling, like if you are at home scale, you are producing, you need not to go for this FSSAI licensing. But if you are selling that water, you have to compulsorily go for BIS certification as well as FSSAI certification.
For own consumption, that means it's not required. Correct, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning.
Myself,
Yes.
Vinod Atkari. I have
Yes.
little confusions in this there this FSSI means now the many standards are harmonized, like
Yes.
all this meat product, this vegetable oil, milk and milk. It is comes under now FSSI. So, but still there are some BIS or some agencies like Agmark. They are also taking care of some products. No,
Yes.
so I have doubt about spices. All spices are under FSSI or some under
Yes,
Agmark.
spices are also under FSSI. Any food product which is defined in this, you can clearly read that FSS regulation 2011. All the here I have sorry some disturbance. I have categorized only some products here because there are too many categories of food products. So according to your food products, eligibility criteria will be different.
Okay. So for spices, FSSI is taking care, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, Yomkesh.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
मॅम
Yes.
मॅम बेबी फूड पावडर साठी आपण FSS जे लायसन आहे ते काढलेलं आहे, बट BIS हे कंपल्सरी आहे का त्यासाठी?
Yes, your food, there is one list now. I have shown that list. I'll show you. So your product will come under processed cereal based complementary foods. I have sent you that copy. You can read there that under this processed cereal based complementary product, baby food products are coming, and they have compulsory, like recently they have made compulsory for BIS certification.
ओके.
So if you are planning to have a license for your entity, you have to compulsorily go for this BIS license, BIS certification.
ओके. थँक्यू मॅम.
Yomkesh, you're having some questions.
No, sir.
I think he's having some network issues.
One
Yomkesh.
more query, sir.
Yes.
Hello. Actually, as per the FSSI, all food contact parts should be in stainless steel, food grade.
Yes, yes.
So for grain, is there any, as per our knowledge, it is not, but for dal, might be dal is
Yes.
some processed product.
For processed product, there is it should be your product should be you should use only the food grade steel are allowed.
Food grade. Yeah, yeah.
So
So
I have listed here now some regulations are there. So other than this licensing, one sec.
So I can't store flour in my silos, no? As per food safety.
Yes, if they visit, they will definitely raise the question if how you can store. You are storing milk product.
Yeah, yeah. So, some customer wish to store flour, then he has to coat with
Yes, you have to
stainless
go.
steel.
As we discussed during mentoring session, na, it is
Yes.
compulsorily has to be food grade steel.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody else?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this important session. Because I got many known that what are the process and how many laws are there behind it, and how to proceed for any type of food and that respective topic, and also important things which you mentioned here. I want to reflect on that in slides you mentioned about that how to save food, unsafe food, that what are the penalties behind it.
Yes.
That is also very important, madam.
Yes, yes.
And also organic food business, this is new for me. From that you mentioned like certifications is needed for organic, BIS and Agmark certification, that is also very important. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody is having questions? Yomkesh? Deshmukh madam. Manjula Deshmukh madam. Their audio is not connected. Yes, so madam, there is one question in chat box from Energy Chakra. They are making solar dryers. They have written that which license will be required for food processing equipment or machines.
For equipment and machines, there will be different license. I don't have, because I am dealing with food processed food products. For equipment and machine, I have to see. If you want, I can give you the details. I'll come back to you and I will mail you the details regarding all these compliances. Because other than FSSAI, there will be different regulations for equipment and machines. See, like we know that Kari said, if you are processing processed product in your milk, it should be compulsory.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Network का कुछ issue हुआ क्या?
उधर ही खोलना नेटवर्क का कुछ इश्यू है
Hello? One partner. Okay.
Hello.